These are fatal mistakes you may have made with your settings that could be holding you back. To get more kills and wins, we will cover common mistakes most players make in their settings, and a couple bonus settings that absolutely no one utilizes. For the first mistake is incorrect dead zone. Too many people have it up way too high. In doing this, it just means you have less room to aim to get those precise shots. When it comes to dead zone min, I recommend turning this to 0 and then selecting test. This will tell you how bad off your controller actually is. Now most of you will likely see this. Slowly adjust this until you have no input and you will have to repeat the test. Now if you go over 10, I would recommend looking into getting a new controller. But if you cannot afford that and you are a part-time engineer, then maybe you can take it apart and spray it with some WD-40 Specialist Contact Cleaner. This has saved me hundreds of dollars. Moving on to max input. Some people say 0 if you have no input, but I say to go ahead and try it on 98. Less distance of travel means with our OP settings coming up, you have less time to get to that max speed when you are flicking. Before we move on to aiming, I want to advise you to flip your bumpers with your triggers. Once again, this comes down to time for input. The bumpers have less travel until they send a signal from the controller to the system to your screen. Most of these settings will take time to get used to, but this is about getting good and that takes time. Aiming. Your stick sensitivity can cause you to over aim or under aim. This is when you flick to a target, you fall just short, or you flick plumb past them. Flicking is a skill that also comes with time, but adjusting your sensitivity can get you to perfection much faster. If you are over aiming, you have your sensitivity way too high. Keep practicing your flicks and turn this down 1 point about every 5 games. That way you have time to get used to it, and your vertical should always mirror your horizontal stick sensitivity. You should be trusting your hip fire more if you watch any of my tips videos. Not doing this will lose you too many gunfights. So with that being said, your aim down sight multiplier should be lower than your regular sensitivity. I go with 0.6, and that is a good baseline for you as well. This is important because aim down sight is where the little adjustments mean the most and really determine the outcome of a gunfight. But you also need to follow our over aiming rule for this one as well. Aim response curve tight. Scuff is one of the best players in the world and he uses dynamic, as well do I. We do this because when you mash on the stick, it will give you full speed rotation but then slows down, allowing you to flick fast but land on the target much easier. This should be common knowledge, but make sure your custom sensitivity multiplier per zoom is off. You don't want to aim down sight delay or to mess up your muscle memory. The best aim down sight right now is the default setting. There is no conversation to be had there. Gameplay. To get the fastest movement to go with your new skill of flicking, you need to choose and copy these settings. This will give you the fastest and most control over your character in game. These 3 settings can also hinder movement and speed a lot, so copy these as well. The last one before we get to the bonus settings is armor plate behavior. Having apply all means you have to cancel the animation and that takes time, which could lose you a gunfight. For maximum control, select apply 1 bonus section. This has to deal with how you view things, which is so critically important. So go to graphics and select view. Too much FOV means you're getting less details on what you actually are able to see. Try turn this down between 110 and 115. To clear everything up even more, turn off weapon motion and movement blur. Another major downfall is eye travel time from your minimap to what's in front of you. This can get you killed. To reduce that eye travel, go into your interface and find the HUD bounds. Moving that in will bring the minimap closer and more into your peripheral vision. And I just pray and hope your minimap is already square. One last overpowered saying before I tell you, watch my tactics videos to continue to get better is color customization. I never confuse or lose my enemy pings because it is lime green. It is the least used color in all of the maps, so it does not blend in. Now like this video if you got any kind of value, and check out this playlist to get even better.